So imagine this. You walk into a coffee shop, you smile at the barista, and you say, "Give me a latte." You think you're being direct and clear, but the barista pauses. Their smile fades a little, and you have no idea what you just did wrong.
Oh no, the secondhand embarrassment from that interaction is just palpable.
Right? And here's the thing. You did not say anything offensive. You didn't use a bad word, but somehow you just sounded rude.
And the worst part? You had absolutely no idea. Welcome to the Westbrook English Channel. We are so glad you are here with us.
Today on our deep dive, we're uncovering 5 English mistakes that are making you sound rude, without you even knowing it. And more importantly, we're going to fix every single one of them.
Okay, so before we jump in, I want to say something important. If you've ever been told you sound rude in English, or worse, if you've noticed people reacting strangely to you and you didn't know why, this is not your fault.
Not at all. Textbooks and language apps teach you the words and the grammar, but they almost never teach you the invisible rules of politeness, and every language has them.
It's like speaking pure textbook English is like driving a car with no shock absorbers. You're still moving forward, but every bump, everyone feels it.
That is a fantastic analogy. Let's break down how this actually works in practice. Here are 5 phrases you're probably using that native speakers hear as rude.
Mistake number 1. The phrase "give me." So, give me a coffee. Give me the menu. Give me a pen.
Now, technically, this is grammatically correct. There is nothing wrong with the sentence. But to a native English speaker, "give me" sounds like a command, like you're ordering someone around. It lacks what linguists call softening.
Think of it like this. In many languages, being direct is a sign of honesty and efficiency. But in English, directness without softening can feel aggressive. It's like handing someone a hot plate with no warning.
Let's actually role play this for our listeners. First, the rude version, Rachel, you be the barista.
All right, good morning. What can I get for you?
Give me a latte.
Anything else?
See that? Now let's try it with softening. Good morning. Go back again.
Good morning. What can I get for you?
Could I get a latte, please?
Of course, that'll be $4.
The fix is so simple. Instead of "give me," try "could I get," or "can I have," or "I'd like," and always add "please." That one little word is like a linguistic shock absorber.
Could I get, can I have, I'd like, plus please. That's your formula. Let's move on to mistake number 2.
Mistake number 2, you must or you should.
Oh, this is a big one. You must try this restaurant. You should watch this movie. The intention is good. You're being helpful. You're giving a recommendation. But must and should can sound like you're telling someone what to do. I still have a terrible love.
Exactly. It's not that different from giving a command. And in a workplace especially, telling a colleague you should organize your emails better. That can land very badly.
It feels like you're their boss or their parent. Which brings us to the fix. And it's beautifully simple. Just swap in softer phrases.
Instead of "you must try this restaurant," try "I think you'd really enjoy this restaurant." Instead of "you should fix this report," try "it might help to take another look at this report."
I think you'd enjoy, it might help to, have you considered, these all give the other person space to make their own choice. And in English-speaking cultures, that space matters a lot.
Okay, so we've covered commands and unsolicited advice. Mistake number 3 is one of the most common, and it involves the deceptively simple word "want."
Mistake number 3. I want a sandwich. I want to leave early. I want you to help me.
This one is tricky because children are actually taught to say "I want." It's one of the first phrases English learners pick up. But as an adult, "I want" can sound demanding and even a little childish.
The fix? 3 beautiful alternatives. Number 1, I'd like a sandwich, please. Number 2, could I have the check, please? And number 3, in a more formal setting, I was wondering if I could.
Let's role play this one too. You're at a restaurant. The rude version, "I want the pasta."
Okay, the pasta.
Now the polite version, "I'd like the pasta, please."
Great choice. I'll put that right in.
It's the difference between sounding like a customer and sounding like you're giving orders. Tiny shift, huge impact.
Mistake number 4. This one hurts because it usually happens when you're trying to be honest. Saying no directly with no cushion.
So imagine a colleague asks, "Do you want to grab lunch?" And you say, "No, just no, nothing else." In many cultures, that's perfectly fine. You're being clear. But in English, a bare no can feel like a door slamming shut.
It is jarring. The fix here is what we call the sandwich, a soft no wrapped in appreciation or an alternative. Oh, I'd love to, but I've got a deadline today. Maybe tomorrow. Or simply, not today, but thank you for asking.
Even "I'm good, thanks" works. The key is that you acknowledge the invitation. You're not just rejecting the thing, you're acknowledging the person who offered.
It's like catching a ball and then gently setting it down. Instead of just letting it hit the ground, you're still saying no, but you're doing it with care.
Mistake number 5 might be the most surprising one on this list. The word "what."
Wait, really? What is rude?
If you didn't hear someone, let's say there's background noise, and you just say "what," it's very direct. It can sound like you're annoyed, even if you're not. Native speakers tend to soften this too.
So what do they say instead?
"Sorry," with the intonation going up. "Pardon," slightly more formal, but very polite. "Could you say that again?" Or even just "Sorry, I didn't catch that."
These all signal the same thing, I didn't hear you. But they also signal, I care about our conversation and I respect you.
Exactly. And again, not your fault for not knowing this. No textbook says, by the way, the word "what" can be rude. But now you know, and you can fix it instantly.
Okay, so let's do a quick recap, and then I want to try something fun. 5 mistakes, 5 fixes. Number 1, give me becomes could I get, please. Number 2, you must becomes I think you'd enjoy. Note number 3, I want becomes I'd like. Number 4, a bare no becomes not today, but thanks for asking. And number 5, what becomes sorry or pardon.
Now here's the fun part. Let's put these all together in one quick conversation. Rachel, you're going to say the rude version, and I'm going to fix it in real time. Ready?
Give me a coffee. You must try the croissant. I want the receipt, and hurry up.
Okay, could I get a coffee, please? Oh, I think you'd really enjoy the croissant here, and I'd like the receipt when you have a moment. Thank you.
That is a completely different person. Same requests, totally different energy.
And that's the beautiful thing. You don't need to learn new vocabulary. You just need to wrap your existing English in a little more warmth.
We are so proud of you for showing up today and working on these subtle but powerful communication skills. These are the things that separate textbook English from real natural conversation.
If you found this deep dive helpful, please don't forget to subscribe to the Westbrook English Channel. Hit that bell so you never miss an episode.
Thanks for joining us on this deep dive, and keep exploring. We'll catch you on the next one.